Welcome back to another episode of All Things Everything presented by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo.
And I'm Sabrina.
And this is episode 59. How are you doing this week?
It's been a pretty good week. I mean, the thing I've noticed these past maybe three weeks maybe, and I think I was telling you this, during the beginning of the year, especially like when Solo Leveling came out, it was like, oh man, we got to wait a week to watch. Mm-hmm. But the week would go by and it would feel fast. Like, oh, we get to watch it again. The past 3 weeks, it feels like it's taking forever to get to Saturday. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think we've been really busy.
Yeah.
And trying to make the most out of the hours in the day, right? So I think it's a good thing. But yeah, for the most part, just staying really busy right now.
Yeah, I would say that, man, my day job feels really busy right now. I mean, we got to work this morning at 6:30, and, man, even Timmy was like, oh, my gosh, it's going to be one of those days, because we just started blowing and going right at 6:30, and it felt like we didn't really stop working until 4:15 when we started driving up to the front, and even at that, we drove up to the front, and we had to check on some camera equipment and stuff, so it's just been really, really busy at work, and, Sabrina and I have been trying to stay busy and doing stuff at the house. We recently bought new cameras. We bought a new laptop. We are pouring concrete in our backyard so we can kind of expand our grill area. We're doing a lot of stuff right now. So I'm not going to lie. It does feel like we haven't been filming as much content as we were 3 or 4 weeks ago. But we are doing other things in place of that kind of, right? So our son started T-ball. The kids got sick for a few days. Of course, we're juggling ballet and hip-hop, spring break, the schooling, and then, we actually went to a competition this past weekend, which, before we go any further, I do want to say congratulations to Raul Gonzalez for Grand Champion in Sinton, Texas, Leroy Barrera for a Reserve Grand Champion in Sinton, Texas, and we actually came in third overall. So it was a GCS 1, 2, 3. We're extremely proud of that. Zach was there. He had some really good walks as well, and we had people all over Texas. We had 2 of our teams out of state go GC and RGC at the same exact event. It was a really, really successful event. It was a successful weekend for GCS and for all the people that run our products. And we also had somebody, Justin Wilson, he got a first-place rib. Him and his team got a first-place rib at Barbecue Austin. So perfect score using Southern Belle and Trifecta. People are just trusting our products all over the state, and it makes it really, really easy for us to sit back, focus on other things, and allow people to prove that our products are really, really good. So we're forever grateful for you guys doing that, and it just means a lot. So congratulations to all those people and everybody in the GCS Familia that walked this past weekend. It wasn't just Raul, Leroy, Zach, and myself. There's other people that went out and walked all over the states. And, congratulations to everybody. Now,
well, and the best part, too, is that Raul was just on the podcast last week.
Yep.
And so for him to GC, it just goes to show, if you have not watched it or if you have watched it, that advice that he's giving you, I mean, there's stuff to back that up.
Yeah. Take a class. That was one of the biggest things that we got out of last week, the podcast. Raul has openly said, he said in the podcast, he took a class. It really helps with that learning curve. So do not ever think that taking a class is a bad idea. It's a very, very good idea. We definitely agree with Raul on that. So, yeah, if you guys haven't watched that episode with Raul, of course, go back last week and watch it. It was a really, really fun one. We had some fun on that one. So, it was really, really cool. But other than those things, we're trying to find some settings on our new cameras that we can work with, which is, we kind of thought we were going to be blowing and going. Just pick up the new camera, start using it right away, and, man, it's ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, the better those cameras get in quality, it's like the more technical and confusing they can be. So it's a learning process for us.
Yeah, it's a learning process, and like I said, we're trying to continuously put out content right now. But we've still been doing it, but we have definitely not been doing as much as we wanted to. But it's not for lack of effort, and it's not for lack of being busy. We've, again, been doing some stuff, which is really, really fun and cool. So another thing I wanted to talk about real quick is this upcoming weekend. So, Friday, I don't even know when he's doing it, when he's driving, but Rini Gonzalez from Gonzalez Family Barbecue is actually going to be going to Fort Worth for the SCA Championship. So he's going to have a chance to win a state contest. If I'm not mistaken, either Smoking on the Rio or somewhere down south, he actually won an event. He got a first place ribeye, and he got a golden ticket to go to that event. So good luck to Rini Gonzalez Family Barbecue, one of my good friends and one of our family members. So hopefully he does well out there.
Yeah, really fun. I mean, ribeye, something different. I think that would be something for us really, really cool to go to.
I wish we could have gone just to be there with him.
Right.
To be honest, to be there and support him. But, it didn't work out exactly the way we wanted to. Oh, before we go any further, one of my buddies, Bill Purvis, won Barbecue Austin this past week. So
nice.
Congrats to Bill. He dominated that event, so he did really, really well. His brisket wrap right now is going pretty crazy. So if you guys are doing competition briskets and you're looking for something to put in your wrap, this is a new product that has recently come out in the past month and a half that is just absolutely taking the circuit by storm. And it's it's pretty crazy to see. So congrats to Bill on the win. Congrats on a successful product. And of course, it's just going to keep on rolling. That's exactly what we do. And we just love to see barbecue continue to grow in general. So that's just awesome to see. Now, we did film and we did put out a video, which I do want to talk about because two things. And I do kind of want to get into it a little bit because I do think that this is one of the things when it comes to making content that's hard. And I didn't know if I really wanted to bring it up because it's a little bit showing like vulnerability in a way. But I do want to talk about this because, again, I think that it is so crazy sometimes how things can go. Now, I'll be completely honest. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the recipe, right? Before we go into what I want to talk about, let's talk about the recipe. So this is actually something that Malcolm Reed did years back. And we basically got that idea, and we've done it before in the past. But what we wanted to do was just kind of amp up those flavors a little bit with our products and some new stuff that we're working on. We got a glaze coming out. We wanted to incorporate it into a recipe. And we made this for a chef's choice this past weekend.
Well, and not really on purpose. So our goal was to do the pork belly bites.
Yes.
And we had happened to have boneless, skinless chicken thighs that we were supposed to make for dinner the night before.
Yep.
And we ended up eating with your parents and not eating those.
Yep.
So we had those on hand and we knew, okay, well, we're not going to get to the competition in time to make this pork belly.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do, those like those chicken poppers that we've done back in the day that you're talking about. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so we did really just shoot from the hip on that. We didn't really have a recipe or an idea. We're just like, well, like Sabrina said, we have thighs, we have jalapenos because we're making glaze. We had a couple extras, so we're like, okay, what can we do? Oh, okay, yeah. And, man, I'll tell you what. First things first, this past weekend when we made them at the contest, they were insane. Like, so good. I'm the guy that made the first place Chef's Choice made pork belly. I know him. He's a good cook, and I know those pork belly were good. I definitely think we could have gotten it. I think we got sixth place with it. Right? Something like that, sixth place. I think we could have gotten the top 3 if we had better appearance, and we were kind of going back and forth on that appearance. We couldn't figure it out.
Well, because they were so ideally making this recipe, we would have the same size of chicken thighs
for competition.
To use, right?
For competition,
and so it was just one pack of boneless, skinless thighs. So we had to use what was there. So there was little pieces, large pieces. So we had like 4 of them that were decently sized and 4 that were tiny.
Yeah, and then so we were so what I did was I cut them into medallions, and I got our glaze, and I was glazing the actual, I guess, the base of it, and we were trying to put it into rows, and it looked horrible, and then so I was like, dude, there's no way. And if you guys know me and Sabrina, we just don't like to turn in bad-looking food, and the outside world to us doesn't really matter when it comes to what's bad or what's good, but like to us, if it's bad, it's like game over. The vibe was definitely not the greatest in the trailer during that moment. It just is what it is. But we ended up, what did I do? Oh,
you kind of just put them in like a circle.
I put them in like a little circle and stacked them up to where it was like a little pyramid circle. I don't think it looked good, but I do think it looked better than what we had personally. And I do think our parents probably messed us up pretty bad because those were incredible. Even Raul came by and he's like, bro, that is fire. That's banging right there. And it really was. So
I think they were even better, though, when we made them this time around.
Yeah, 100%. Well, because we just, when you're focusing on a recipe, I think that night, we just threw them on the drum and we're kind of still injecting, we're still doing this, we're doing that, we're kind of focusing on the competition. And Chef's Choice is more so like, you want to win it. Yeah, you 100% want to win it, but we're thinking like, oh, we got dinner.
Right.
No, we got dinner. So
or something to snack on.
Yeah, something to snack on. So it was really one of those. But man, I'll tell you what, the recipe itself is very, very simple. And truly, when I don't even know how else to say it. They are so good. It is insane. So we had 4 extras. Well, okay. So it's a chicken thigh, right? You lay it out. And so whenever you're actually cooking a chicken thigh, you can see the top side where the skin sits right on top. And then if you look at the bottom side, these were boneless, skinless chicken thighs. So that's where they actually take the bone out. So it's got like more, I guess, like ridges and more texture on the bottom side. The top side is a little bit more smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So you put the top side down, you get that jalapeno, you put the cream cheese in it, and then you put it inside of your chicken thigh, roll it up.
But I think the reason why these were so much better is because the filling did not fall out.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that you did it was, if this is the chicken thigh, you put the jalapeno filled with the cream cheese here, and here's where the openings are, right?
Yeah.
And you took the flaps of the chicken and closed them.
Yeah.
So that way, where the bacon is wrapping, yes. But usually when you do something bacon wrapped, it still seeps through the bacon. But it wasn't going to seep through that chicken plus the bacon.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to explain if you're not watching right now because Sabrina had
leave something here for
you to...
Yeah,
we'll leave something here for you to look if you are watching. But, okay, the best way I can explain it is like your jalapeno, the way that we cut it was we cut it twice. So we cut off the end, where the stem is, and then we cut it about halfway after that. So we cut it twice. So once at the end and then once right in the middle. And then so that middle piece, it's going to be a little bit fatter. It's not towards the tip of the jalapeno, and it's like a perfectly good cylinder.
Right.
Right? So then what I did was I actually put that on its side, or not side, I guess. It's what would that be called? Like I would just okay.
the tops of the cylinder.
So yeah, exactly. It's like a cylinder now, right? Think I just cut off the stem and then I just cut off the tip. So now it can stand on its own. So I stood it up and then I cut that in half. I took out the seeds, I took out everything, and then so now, like Sabrina said, you have openings on both sides. Don't forget, we cut the top off and then we cut toward the tip off. So those are openings, right? So those openings are facing towards the chicken thigh that we're folding over. So folding it over is actually holding that cream cheese in place. And then, like Sabrina said, we bacon wrapped it, so it was like double secured.
If you're thinking, okay, well, why not use those tips of the jalapenos? You're just wasting it. Now, we were making something else in the background that we were able to use that with, so it wasn't wasted, but you can obviously still use them in this recipe. It's just that sometimes those pieces are smaller, we just wanted to be able to put the most amount of filling as we could.
Yep.
So that's why we wanted to use more of the inside of the jalapeno.
Yeah, and like Sabrina said, we're working really hard. I don't even know how many batches of this glaze I've made. Now Sabrina's, kind of learning to make it as well. We just want to make sure that we have our recipe down and we can replicate it every single time. So we're working on glazes, and our glazes have jalapenos in it, jalapeno flavoring. Well, I guess it's jalapeno because it's an actual jalapeno, and so we're using the extras for that. But man, overall, that cream cheese, what we did was we put our double apple glaze in it, and then we put our hot spitality, which is our hot barbecue rub. If you guys don't have hot spitality, you can use a hot barbecue rub in place of that. And I'll tell you what, dude, like the cream cheese filling on its own is out of this world, banging 10 out of 10, whatever you want to say. There's just not cream cheese that I've ever had that's like that. It really is just that good. And then, we seasoned up the chicken thigh with Southern Belle, which actually is our beef rub, but it's got a good pepper, it's got a good salt, it's got savoriness. So think about it, right? We have contrasting flavors. We have a little bit of spice from the jalapeno. We have a little bit of spice inside of that cream cheese, but that cream cheese itself is really savory. And our double apple glaze, well, it's just incredible. Mm-hmm. I really, truly can't wait for us to perfect this and get it to you guys, because I really, really, truly think you guys, with how smart everybody is, they're going to find some amazing way to use this. And it's not even necessarily going to be barbecue related. Yeah. It is just going to be, there's going to be some way somehow to use this glaze. I promise you the flavor is out of this world. It makes me very, very happy that we came up with this together, and that's just the best part about it. But either way, and then of course we wrapped that in bacon. Bacon is bacon. It's delicious. We hit it with a little bit more hot rub, and man, we just threw them on a pellet grill, 375 degrees.
Easy.
They get to about 182 degrees, 183 degrees, I think, in the video. And that's perfect because, yes, chicken is done at 165 degrees. Yes. But when you take dark meat a little bit further, 185, even 200 degrees, it's going to have a better texture. There's still going to be moisture in it, and it is going to be amazing. It's really going to be amazing. Now, I know there's maybe somebody new listening thinking, man, it's done at 165. That's overcooked. Try it one time, and you will not go back to cooking dark meat to 165 ever again.
Yeah.
Literally, ever again. I mean, I feel very, very, very confident in that because it is truly just better.
Yeah.
And there's no other way, in my opinion, to actually say anything about it. It's just better. So, all in all, we ended up hitting it with a little bit of the barbecue sauce on the outside, and
which was the perfect, final touch because it's you get the thickness, the sweetness of it. Oh man, the bacon was cooked perfectly too. I know a lot of the times when we do bacon wrap things, our biggest worry is, is the bacon that's being overlapped actually going to cook, right?
Yeah.
So we typically try to use like thin bacon.
Yeah.
But we had no issues.
But
with
see,
that.
the good thing about these chicken recipes, and this is just a tip, if you guys are using any bacon wrapped chicken, use dark meat. It can go further. It can go, and that's another thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're only cooking your chicken to 165, your bacon might not have that full cook on it. It might not be there because you're of course going to need to go further and further in order for the bacon to be fully cooked. So we have 185 chicken, 200 chicken. That bacon is finally going to get fully cooked, nice and rendered. It's just going to have a perfect bite to it. And man, I'll just tell you what, the dark meat is better for bacon wrapped stuff.
Absolutely,
or stuff that you can cook to a higher temperature, stuff that you can take that far. It's just going to be better. It just really is.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, once again, when we get asked, like, what's our favorite thing that we've made in the backyard or for a video? And the other day it was those pork belly bites. And then if you asked me today, it would be what we just made. I mean, it was so good to the point where I probably ate.
I saw you cut up like 4 of them, I think.
Yeah, I ate some because I had a plate of macaroni. Ate that because, like, barbecue chicken, and we've talked about this, is one of my favorite things, right? So that had that classic barbecue chicken taste because of the barbecue sauce with the chicken thighs, because that's what I like is like a chicken thigh, barbecue chicken thigh, right?
Yeah.
And so it had that taste, and with the side of macaroni or beans and broccoli, like that's like the ultimate meal for me, right?
Yeah, it's like classic barbecue.
Yeah.
Right?
So I went back like 30 minutes later, and there was still one sitting there, so I cut it up and ate it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you got to force yourself to eat it while you can because it's that good.
It really is that good. And kind of what I was talking to and alluding to a little bit earlier is this recipe was that good. And when you make something like this, you are excited to show people exactly how good it is. You are so excited. When I tell you that this video is probably doing the worst of any video that we've done in the past 3-4 months, I'm not exaggerating. Like, so usually after 24 hours, we have at least a couple thousand views on our videos. I think this one has like 600.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna go deep into that, but I will tell you this. One of the things that I kind of wanted to bring that up for is it is very, very, very easy to look at views and get discouraged. I've been doing my best to no longer look at views, like for anything, but for whatever reason, I had logged into YouTube yesterday to check something, and I saw the views on this one. I was like, ooh, this is not going good. And it's really weird because the comments that actually comment on it are really, really good and how good it looks, and they're encouraging and all that stuff. But, man, the video is doing horrible. So if you guys ever get into content, just know that days like this are going to happen. You cannot give up. You do keep going no matter what, because we know that recipe was good. And out of nowhere, you never know, out of nowhere, that thing could go viral next week, in a month and a half, in a year, it could go viral. Don't delete it. Keep it there. Be proud of what you did. We are. And I know that recipe was really, really good.
Well, and it's also just it's one of those things where analytics really do come into play, right? Because, we're not like the Mr. Beasts and all those people who they could literally put out anything, title it anything, thumbnail with no captions, and it's going to do well because people are going to his channel on a daily basis, right? With us, we really have to
We're still trying to get discovered.
Yeah, and we're trying to find our target audience, what they want to see. And so it's not just about like, hey, this was a super good recipe, so amazing. It really, truly was. It was delicious. It looked good, all of these things. But, if YouTube isn't putting that in the mix of things that people want to see, it's really not going to get out there, right?
Yeah.
So it does take strategizing from our point of view to try and get that video to be seen just as much as like the briskets, the ribs, right? And sometimes that's hard to do. I mean, we're still learning. But I mean, hopefully, people go out there and keep watching that video. Not even about the views, but just because, like you said, it's disappointing because it is such a good recipe.
And I want people to try that recipe.
Exactly.
I really, truly want you guys to try that recipe because I promise you, if you make that recipe and you give that to your friends or your family, they 100,000,000% are going to think this is banging. I actually took 4 pieces to work. What was that, yesterday?
Yeah.
And my coworkers all ate it. And literally, I promise you, they were all like, bro, this is it. This is it. Yeah. And it's funny because even they were like, bro, this video's got to go viral. This recipe's incredible. Yeah. Like this is, and we're not just trying to go viral, right? We're trying to build a community of people that can trust recipes from us or are looking forward to videos from us. We just missed, we missed, and it does stink, but I did want to bring that up because, it happens to us too. We, guys, to be honest, we're still not a big channel. We're really, truly not. We're very proud of where we're at, and we know we're going to keep going, but we're really not a big channel. So it's going to happen to everybody. It's going to continue happening to us, but we're proud. We're going to keep pushing forward, and I think that we just got to keep posting, right? One of the sorry, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, you're good.
I was going to say, I was talking to somebody I know really well this week. I mean, they told me, man, I just got so lucky. I just got so lucky to do this. And I'm not going to reveal who it was or what it was about, but this person was telling me that they got lucky to be in the situation they're in. And I told them straight up, I said, man, look, we all do stuff every single day that actually lays out the path of our lives, right? So whether it's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing, whether you were very productive or very lazy, everything that you do actually lays your life out. And I do not believe in luck. I do and don't, right? So the more work you put in, the luckier you're going to get. And what I mean by that is it's like with golf, right? I'm thinking about it because we literally came here from the golf course. Man, I keep going and I keep hitting balls and I keep playing holes every single day. Man, eventually I'm going to get lucky and get a hole in one. Everybody's trying to get a hole in one. I get it, but there's a lot of luck that comes into getting a hole in one. It does not mean you hit a bad shot. It just means that there's a little bit of luck there. But you have to hit the shot in order to get lucky, right? We have to post a video in order to go viral and get lucky. That person that I talk to has to be in the situations they're in their lives in order to be put into a lucky situation. I'm lucky to be here. I'm this, I'm that. No, you're not. You've put yourself in situations that has brought you to this moment to listen to me on a podcast and Sabrina on a podcast, and now you can move forward and do the next thing. And that situation is also going to lay out your life 100,000,000%. So every single day, it's like what we do, it's 100% going to determine whether GCS makes it or not. If we want to take a 4-month hiatus, GCS is done. We can't do that. We don't want to do that. We want to get lucky quotations, right? We want to keep working. We want to keep having all these hopefully good things happen. We want to keep putting out products. Maybe the next one's going to put us in H-E-B or Walmart or all the Ace Hardwares in the whole world. Man, I don't believe in luck. I do, but I don't believe in luck, right? Don't ever think that you got lucky to be in the situation you're in. Don't, because you've put yourself in that situation, right? I understand what you're saying. I really, truly do, but don't discredit yourself. If you guys are doing good things in life, lucky, quotations, is going to happen. It's just going to happen. But, like, you've still got to put yourself in those situations, right? And I told this person, I'm like, dude, look, I'm proud of you, man. I really am. So if you guys don't know me, like, at work, man, especially with my coworkers, I'm really, really, we joke around a lot, right? Like, a lot, you know, we give each other hell big time. But, man, like, I'm proud of this dude, right? You know, like, I'm proud of him. Like, man, everything you did, you could have broken down 50 million times, and you didn't, right? Don't tell me you got lucky. You didn't give up, right? You put yourself through school. A lot of people are afraid, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They're afraid to put themselves into student debt. They don't want to get the degree because it's going to cost $100,000. You weren't afraid. You did it. You went and got your degree. You went and did what you were supposed to do. You went and got that job that you weren't sure about. You put in hard work. You got a promotion. You did this. Now you're making this type of money. You're going to change your own life. Man, I don't believe in luck. I believe every single one of us, we're exactly where we need to be. And, man, if good things are happening to you, do not think you got lucky. You absolutely deserve that, 100%. And you can't convince me otherwise. Yeah, sure. Very, very, very fortunate situations happen to people all the time, but they happen for some reason. Let's just say I didn't know, or I wasn't married to Sabrina, and we were just friends, and, man, GCS blew up. Hey, I need someone to work with me. You know, I bring her on. We go to a bajillion. She's a millionaire. She says, oh, I got lucky. No, you were in my life. You put yourself in my life and allowed me to think that I could trust you with everything. That's not luck. You did that. You built that rapport with me, right? So that's not, it was a fortunate situation that I did trust you, but you gave me the reason to trust you, right? And maybe a weird example, but you guys, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Man, I don't believe in luck. You go to, like, man, you go to a barbecue competition. Yeah, there is luck that comes with it. There is, because you have to give your barbecue to the right people. Flavor is subjective, right? And yes, even I say it, you got to get lucky to win. You do. But, man, you got to go to win as well. You have to spend $900 to $1,200 for a competition to get lucky. You have to cook a tender, tasty rib to get lucky. You have to cook the perfect brisket to get lucky. You cannot turn in horrible barbecue and win. You cannot convince me otherwise. Everybody who won cooked really well that day. Yes, their food landed on the right table. They liked that exact flavor profile, and it was great for them. But, man, there is a lot that you have to do in order to get lucky, right? So, I mean, Sabrina and I, it's one of those things. If we ever make it, you cannot sit here, and no one has. I don't think anyone will, but you couldn't convince me we got lucky. Not with how much we do. And I'm completely content and happy with how much we do. Yeah. A lot of the times, you know this, I think we could do more, right? But this is going to be something that we talk about in a little bit because we had a great question, and I want to talk about it. But, man, I talked to you guys about this before. When things come on in my heart, I have to talk about them.
Yeah.
If you guys are out there busting your tail, doing the right things, meeting the right people, being a good person, you're not lucky. You're getting what it was coming to you this whole time. So, yeah, if the person that told me they feel like they're lucky is listening, bro, you're not lucky. You deserve this. Keep going. You're going to be everything you want in life. Because you know how I know that? Because I know I'm going to be everything I want in life too. It's just going to happen, dude. And there's no other way to look at it. I am who I want to be in life. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a son. You know, I'm everything I want to be. Yeah, sure, I also want to be a successful business owner. But at the end of the day, that's not what's important, right? We talked a couple of days back, I didn't even want to film that video that we just talked about. Sabrina literally told me to my face, we have to. We have to. And as crazy as that sounds, I mean, I listen to her, right? And not crazy. It's just like I have to listen to her too. Like, she's invested into this business everything she has. Everything. Who am I to say, nah, forget you. We're not going to do that. That's disrespectful. I'm not going to disrespect my wife. I'm not saying I'm a perfect husband. We've definitely been on each other's nerves or, said the wrong things or done whatever. That's going to happen. That's what we do, right? Like, but I'm not going to disrespect her like that. And we had to do that video. We have to keep going. We have to show our kids that no matter what, if you want something, go get it. It's not going to be given to you. Yes, you're going to be put in those fortunate situations, but it is not going to be given to you. And I'm like, dude, I wish I could punch my table right now. That's how much this gets me amped up because I just don't believe in that crap. You can't convince me, man. I know a lot of people that are in a lot of great situations in their lives right now. And I can tell you, maybe not the exact moment, but I can tell you when things started going good for them. Man, you worked at that horrible job for 10 years, and then you got a job making $500,000, and now you're lucky? Nah, man. Now, the one thing I will say is we're blessed, right? So if you feel like you're lucky, man, maybe start praying to God and thank him for all of your blessings. But you still had to get up. You still had to do everything. Man, if I don't stop talking now, I'm not going to stop talking. So I'm going to stop talking about this, but I'll just close it up with this. Man, I'm proud of you guys. If you're doing something, if you're chasing a dream, if you want a promotion at work, I'm proud of you. Part of doing anything in life is first having it in your mind. But if you don't do anything about it, it's just going to stay in your mind, guys. You have to go forward. Whatever is in your mind, do it. What is stopping you, man? I mean, I understand money, whatever. Figure out a way. Seriously, figure out a way. I love you guys. I'm proud of you. If you're trying to get something in your life, go get it. If there's something that I can do to help you, I promise you, I will. Anyway, I won't shut up if I don't stop now, I'm telling you. So where were we even at? I don't even know. I went on a rant. Sorry about that, guys.
I don't know, but I guess we can go on to...
let's talk about the competition a little bit.
Yes.
Right? So we didn't even talk about that. So we went out and we competed in Sinton, Texas. It was an IBCA event. Really good event. ABC Construction, something like that.
Yeah, I've got the little tumbler over there somewhere.
Yeah, so man, I'll tell you what. A few things. Number one, Outlaw Smokers. I mean, just the absolute greatest pit I've ever owned. And it's just amazing. And that smoker just ran perfect all day long. And what's crazy is I was actually teaching Dad how to run it because when we do our class, I'm not going to be able to be out there the whole time feeding sticks to the fire. So I was telling Dad, hey, this is how I do it. This is when I do it. This is blah, blah, blah. And, man, he was running that fire all day. So, man, everything just turned out really good. So started my pit at 6 a.m., which is what I do. Threw the brisket on. Cooked ribs, and we did chicken on my drum, on my shorty drum, Bobby Delgado, shout out. And man, I felt really, really, really strong about the whole cook. I mean, it's one of those things where it was just a really, really solid cook. Everything tasted really good. From your point of view, was there anything that was night and day better than the other proteins? Did you feel good about everything equally? Did you feel like it was a smooth cook? How did everything go for you?
Yeah, so first of all, we did not film this competition because we really want to get our notes dialed in for our class. So we wanted to definitely take the time to not worry about filming and worry about, taking notes. So I felt like, and that's, and maybe we shouldn't have, but we used that spare time to do, like you said, we did the chef's choice, we did beans, we did this ribeye. So we kind of had some fun with it too as well. But the chicken on the shorty, I thought was really, really good. Mm-hmm. I think it's and we've said this before, the best of both worlds with a kettle and a regular drum smoker. Yeah. Because you get kind of that smoked, but you also get kind of that grilled taste. So the chicken I thought was actually one of our best chickens. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it had what we've been missing. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think it had what we've been missing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get the results we wanted, but we kind of, when you sit and look back at it, you're able to look at it and say, okay, well,
this is maybe why.
this is why. Because we didn't have good appearance scores on our chicken either, which to me, it's such a baffling thing with the half chicken and IBCA, because every time I see everybody's pictures, I'm like, man, they all look the same. Like, how does this one get a 7 and this one get a 9? Right? It's a really baffling thing to me with chicken in general.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, right? That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So there are little things that we know we need to change. But as far as the flavor goes and the texture goes on our chicken, I thought that was absolutely one of the best ones that we've ever had.
Yep, I agree.
But one thing that we talked about as well is when it comes to our other proteins, we're very consistent with our recipes. Chicken's one of those things where we're constantly changing it because we're like, okay, well, we didn't get a good call here. Let's try this. And then we've been trying to find the right recipe for us. I think we have.
We just need to stick with it.
Yes, now we need to stick with it. And that's the thing is, you know, especially if you take a class, if you come take our class, if you don't hit the first time.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah, if you're specifically wanting to get the recipes from the class or another class or a friend, whoever, and you don't hit the first time, you have to understand that sometimes it takes doing these recipes over and over and over and over again to finally hit, and then they become consistent, right? It's there's a difference between precision and accuracy, right? So you have to get to that point where you're consistent, your accuracy with your calls is much better because you trust these recipes enough to do them every single time and not change them. So I think we have found the recipe that we want for our chicken, the way we want to do it.
We just need to make a small change. Yeah, and we know exactly what it is.
Right. And
for us.
Exactly. And just keep going out and using that same recipe, and eventually, you know, we're going to see the results we want. I do believe it because I think it's a really good chicken. And that's the thing too is, you know, when you look back on your cooks, you have to be realistic with yourself and say, hey, that wasn't it. Yeah. And that's okay. But this is it now. I can taste the difference now. And this is what we need to run with. Right?
And I think we're on the right path.
Exactly.
I really, truly do. I think, you know, Sabrina and I, again, we talked about it. We're like, man, right after the contest, you're like, man, dude, that chicken was really good. But looking back, we know. Well, we don't know, but we think we know where we missed, and we're going to fix that for the next one, and that's just all there is to it, and we'll see if it gets better. But, man, I did really like the texture of the breast, and we actually had really good texture scores.
Yeah.
I thought the flavor inside the breast was good.
And the wing was good, and we talked about this on the
wing
last
is good,
right?
Man, it's on and popping. I'll tell you that much. But either way, moving on from the chicken, ribs, dude, so here's the crazy thing. We didn't film this competition, and we didn't film this competition because we're coming up in May, and we didn't film this competition because coming up in May, we're going to have a competition class, and what we're trying to do is literally gather as much information for the people taking the class as possible. I won't go into too much detail about why, because that's something that we're going to share with them, but we're probably not going to film maybe even the next couple of competitions. Sabrina and I have some stuff that we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Those ribs that we had, and I know you can agree with me, the ribs that we had were actually very, very thin and not even good.
Yeah. They were marbled.
Yeah, I don't want to say not good. I don't want to say not good. They were very, very thin, and they were very, very small.
Yes.
And we kind of were like, but I told Sabrina, and I knew this, we cook them well, we'll be right there.
Right.
And I knew that. So, man, they were banging. They were banging out of control. And we ended up with a second place rib. Really, really happy with the call. And, you know, on to brisket. Brisket was good. Brisket was really good. You know, we're actually cooking primes again. We're cooking prime briskets again. We have for the past couple of events.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that was a fifth place call for us. But, man, it's we're doing some different stuff on our brisket now, too. We feel really, really confident and comfortable with it. Not huge changes, but changes nonetheless. And we're really, really happy. So third overall, man, an absolute blessing to be able to go out and cook barbecue. And, man, I just was really, really happy with the event overall. We had fun. We're close to home. We get to come and sleep in our bed, go back in the morning. Man, it's just really, really nice.
Yeah, like you said, a good competition when they're close to home. We really do want to do more competitions, but you can't pass up those ones that are really close. You're spending less money. We didn't have to sleep out there. So, the more we can do here close to home is, I think, going to be really beneficial. So I think the next one we have that's close to us will be Winfest, right?
Winfest at the end of the
Yeah.
month.
We're still gonna try and hit more.
Yeah, so again, we have the competition class coming up, and we are just we know what we do. I'm not going to explain it. This is something for the competition class, something that we just feel we have to do. It's a plan that Sabrina and I have, and we're gonna do our best to execute it. So, but man, I think we had some pretty good questions today. So what I did was I went on Facebook, and I always do this. So if you guys don't follow us on Facebook, definitely do that. And I said, hey, today we're podcasting. Anyone have any topics or questions that you've got? And so we've got a few that we're going to read off here, and we're going to answer a few questions for the rest of the podcast. Xavier X Gonzalez says, what's better, S1 setup or ThermoWorks billows? Biggest thing I see is price difference. And I honestly don't know what that is. I don't know what the S1 setup is. I know what the ThermoWorks billows is. That's like the little fan that you can actually put on a drum or a Weber Smoky Mountain, I think.
Right.
And it'll actually control the temperature. I've actually never used one, Xavier. So I'm sorry that I don't have a better outlook on that, but we've actually never used any of those fans. One person I know that might, no, they don't use a fan either. I'm sorry, Xavier. I wish I had something better for you, but I'm not too sure what that is because we've never used it.
Yeah, I don't think we've really ever encountered anybody using them besides like, if you watch like, was it the barbecue?
Oh yeah, Harry Sue, right?
Harry Sue would use them for his Weber Smoky Mountains.
Yeah, but we don't use them, so I don't think there's anything wrong with them. We just have never used them.
Yeah. If anyone does use them, leave a comment and let us know.
Yeah, if you guys have used them, what do you guys see as the differences in between the S1 and the billows?
Yes. Yolanda Bonda says, when will you be putting out that awesome looking glaze for sale?
I mean, as soon as we can.
Yeah.
As soon as we can. We're any single product that you're trying to put out, it's a process. If you're doing it, I don't want to say the right way because it's not necessarily the right way, but Sabrina and I do everything like we try and make it over top in a way. Not over top, but we want nutritional facts labels. We want to make sure it's shelf stable. It might have to go off for FDA testing. There's a lot of things that we have to do in order to preserve.
Especially when you're dealing with liquids. Liquids is like a whole new ball game as opposed to like dry seasonings.
Yeah, so this is going to be our first product or our first liquid product.
Yeah.
And, we just want to make sure we're doing it the right way. So we do have a co-packer. We are working with them. And I hope it's March.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully before summer we can have it out. That'd be really ideal, but I can't promise anything. And just stay tuned. We hope to have it soon. Cook Shack Barbecue says, how do y'all balance job 1, job 2, which is Gulf Coast Smoke, and family?
Yeah, I mean, well, for you with the 2 jobs, what's your input?
I think, man, that's hard because I feel like
it ain't easy. I mean, I'll say that. But I'm sure there's lots of families out there, whether you have 1 job, 2 job, both parents working, 1 parent working. I mean, it's hard to balance for everybody in general.
I agree. I think that the hardest thing about my job, it's just that I go to work early.
Right.
So a lot of the times if we are up late, I'm tired and I have to think with my brain a lot at work. So it's just, how do I balance it? Man, I don't know. I mean, the one thing I'll say about Sabrina and I is we're really, 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 what's the word? We're just like, man, I don't know. I hate to say that I don't know how to answer this because I guess in a way, I mean, again, I'm not looking for anybody to feel anything for me, but it's just hard.
I think it's usually like one of the days on the weekend. So like maybe like on a Sunday after a comp, or if we've already filmed Saturday, or if you have Monday off, we can film Monday. We'll take one of those days to just, do what we want to do as a family, even if it's just sitting at the house, playing games, watching TV, being lazy. I think we do, because we go so hard all the time, taking that one day to do the things that, we want to do or don't have to do is really helpful. It helps to balance.
But the thing is, and this is what I was trying to say, I'm sorry to cut you off. What I was trying to say a few minutes ago is we're really spontaneous.
Yeah.
And man, I still feel like we do like a lot with our kids.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest thing is a lot of what we do, we always incorporate the kids.
Always.
The kids are always with us. Right. So a lot easier, I think, to balance because we're always together. It's not like they're at school for, 8 hours and or I don't even remember how long freaking school is, but you're at work for however long, right? And we're all separated and we only have that small window of time to spend time together, right?
Yeah.
We're, whether I'm always with the kids or if I go to the store and you're with the kids, like we're all always together, right?
Yep.
So even if it's, just coming to the office and I have to do work and the kids bring their schoolwork, like we did today, and we'll pick up lunch.
Yeah.
And just hang out, do things together, even while we're working. If we're filming a video outside, they're out there playing too, right? So we're just always doing things together, which I think helps. I don't know. It doesn't make it any easier, but it's not as much as a thought of like, man, we really got to try and do this, and this because I haven't seen the kids all week.
Yeah, no, that's to be honest, that's never a thing.
Right.
Like not even ever. We just at the end of the day, I feel like we just go as hard as we can every single day because that's just who we are and how we want to do this. So I don't really, to be honest, I don't think there is a balance. For us, I don't think there's balance. I think
it's just go. And
yeah, I think we do as much as we can when we can, and when we can't, we can't.
Exactly.
We incorporate our kids into everything. We try our best to take our kids to do fun stuff all the time, and that's just what we like to do. I mean, we're all over the place in a way, but we always have a plan. So, for example, tomorrow's Thursday. Sabrina's going to be editing this during the day while giving kids school. I'll get home from work. We're going to go have dinner with mom and dad because that's what we do every Thursday. And then Friday, we'll post the podcast. We're going to film. Saturday, we're going to do stuff with the kids all day. Sunday, we're going to film again. Monday, we'll do stuff with the kids all day. You're going to start editing. Tuesday, the video comes out. Tuesday, maybe son has a baseball game. Monday, the kids had ballet. Wednesday, we podcast. Thursday, we with mom and dad. We're always doing something. I don't think there's balance, and I also don't think that's a bad thing. We are business owners, and we're trying to make it. So we're putting everything that we have right now into our business and our family. Our family and our business are one. This business, we hope we make it for our family. We hope that one of these days, maybe our son and our daughters want to take this over. They don't have to do YouTube and stuff like us. Maybe we've built an empire by then. They can just take the seasonings, take the glazes, maybe the sauces, maybe the this, maybe the that, and they can build, and they can turn this company into something that Sabrina and I never could. That's the goal. There's no real balance for us, to be honest. And I don't mean, the reason I didn't want to say that is because I don't want to seem like, what a typical answer. It's the truth.
Well, naturally, I think people in general are going to prioritize what's most important to them.
For us,
it really is. So that's typically what we do, family and this, and that's what we prioritize.
Now, the goal, the true goal, is for us to have no balance now, but all the balance that we could ever want or need in 10 years.
Right. It's a grind now
to shine later.
Right. Exactly.
That's what we've always said. I mean, so right now there's really no balance. The balance is make it. But great question. I really, 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 really like that question.
Josue Rodriguez says, how different is a brisket in a Traeger from a traditional smoker? How do you manage the pellets on a Traeger if you're cooking overnight? I think usually when we cook overnight, you just fill it up before you go to bed. But I do think that if you're trying one on a pellet smoker and one on a pellet smoker, did I say pellet smoker?
Yes, you did.
If you try one on a pellet smoker and then one on an offset right next to each other, yeah, you're going to taste the difference. But if it was last week you did an offset, this week you're doing a pellet smoker, nobody's going to know. We've done so many overnight briskets on the pellet smoker, and your family really is not going to know the difference. You might be able to know the difference if you do this a lot, but
yeah, I was going to say, I think that's a good thing that you mentioned in there. If you do this a lot, I do think you'd be able to tell.
For sure.
But I do think that like Sabrina said, if you're giving, okay, let's just say you make a brisket for someone today, and 3 months from now, one of them's on an offset, one of them's on a pellet grill, and you nail both of them, I do not necessarily think they're going to be able to tell the difference. But yeah. I think for somebody that's cooking all the time, like Sabrina and I can tell the difference for sure. I can tell the difference 100%. And I do think that an offset is going to give you a much, 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 much better product. It's just, I just do.
Right.
But I don't think a pellet grill brisket's bad, especially if you nail it. I don't think that at all. And as far as the pellets overnight, man, just fill the hopper up and get to going. Because if you're cooking this overnight, you're probably not going to be over 225 degrees anyway. So you're not really going to be running through pellets in the morning. If you need to, you can just fill it up again.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. Pierre says, what is that? And it's probably in regards to the glaze picture that I put whenever I ask this question. I just put the picture there for attention. So, Pierre, it is a glaze that we're working on that can be mixed with barbecue sauces in order to make your food taste better and look better.
Yeah, fruit-based.
Fruit-based, yep, fruit-based barbecue glaze.
Domingo Salinas Jr. says, on ribs, do you sauce them, then glaze on top of sauce, or mix sauce and glaze together, then put on the ribs? Billy Ruff responds to that saying, that's a good one. I haven't had any luck with glazes. Not sure if I'm doing it right. I think, that's a difficult thing when you're dealing with sauces of different consistencies, and some have set, maybe some are cold. And you try to layer those on, it could disrupt the way that it looks. But I'll just say we've done both.
Yeah, we've done both.
Yeah, just make sure at the very least, just make sure your sauces aren't cold. Because if you put a sauce on and you've let that set, and then you take a cold sauce over here and you're trying to drizzle something or pour something on top, unless you're completely dunking it or rebrushing, you're going to see those drizzle marks.
For sure. How about different profiles of brisket injections? Salty, beefy, savory, maybe a bit sweeter style? I'm going to be honest with you. We've run one brisket injection since we started competing, and we have not changed, and that is Elsie's Play Bull. It's going to be a savory brisket injection, and I highly recommend it. I think that you should give it a try for sure. So as far as something a little bit sweeter or anything like that, I've never tried it. If anybody has, maybe you can drop a comment and let us know, but I really like Play Bull, and we have not swapped from it.
Yeah, I think for most injections or people injecting, the goal is to give it a more intense beefy flavor, or keep that beefy flavor, keep it, having a lot of moisture. Sweetness mostly comes from the sauce. I don't really know if anybody does any sort of sweet profile.
Injection.
Yeah. KCBS might be different. I don't know. I know they like things sweet over there. So, but here in Texas, you want a savory, beefy brisket.
Yeah, no doubt.
Brian Fox says, where has Rini Gonzalez been?
I don't know. I have no idea. I wish I could tell you. I haven't seen Rini in... have we seen him this year?
Since
CBA World Champs.
Right.
That was the last time I seen Rini, so not sure where he's at. Actually, he's probably in Dallas, Fort Worth right now, so that's where he's at. Casey Hoover says, let's talk about comp pork recipes. So what about them did you want to talk about, Casey? So if you give me a little bit more context, next podcast we can maybe go into this a little bit more, but what are you looking to know about it? So I can give you some backstory, or not backstory, I can give you some info on ours. I love Elsie's Boss Hog. We start there, and I like a little bit of a vinegary sauce on mine. So I'll turn in pulled pork and money mussels, but again, what are you kind of looking for there? We can make this a conversation next event. Why do I keep saying event? Next podcast if you'd like.
And Donnie Howard says, when's the glazed delivery truck supposed to show up in Canyon Lake? And Daniel Cortez says he needs to stop by Leon Springs first. So as we mentioned in the previous question, hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
As soon as possible.
Yeah, as soon as possible, but we're really excited about this product for sure. Michael Williams says, your competition rib wrap and sauce. That's that's an answer I unfortunately cannot give you, Michael. Yeah,
Well, if you've seen any of our competition videos, we're usually putting vinegar sauce in our wrap.
Yeah, so So I'll tell you this much. If you watch our competition videos, you can catch a lot. We put Killer Hog's vinegar sauce in there. We put a little bit of sugar in the raw, butter, and then there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that in there. But that at least gives you a general idea of what it is. And on our sauces, I can tell you this much. All the sauce that we use, Killer Hog's vinegar, Killer Hog's the barbecue sauce, and our glazes. Mm-hmm. That's all we use. I promise you that's all we use.
Robert says, brisket comp cooking and how do you wrap?
Do you mean... how do you wrap? Does he mean like in foil or?
It just says brisket comp cooking and how do you wrap? So I mean, that's a very open-ended question. There's a lot to it. I mean,
cook it. In my opinion, cook it really tender, more tender than you'd think.
Less sparky.
Don't make it mushy. And how do I wrap? I wrap in foil. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that might be what you're asking. I wrap in foil.
when it comes to all of our proteins, except for chicken, because we don't wrap our chicken unless they're like thighs.
Yeah, everything's
but when it comes to any of those proteins, it's going to be wrapped in foil, possibly a foil pan with liquids. Most of the time, butter, and that's really it. That's across the board.
Yeah, for sure. Sean Trainer says, do you ever switch from Wagyu to Prime depending on location, city versus country, or small town? Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, so if it's a bigger competition, we're cooking a Wagyu. And if it's a smaller competition, I'm cooking a Prime most of the time.
Yeah.
Yes and no, because, okay, I'll tell you this much. I only like the IBP Primes. If I can't find a good IBP Prime, I would rather just cook a snake. But if I can find a good IBP Prime, I will cook it as long as it's not a big event. Like, for example, CBA Worlds, we cooked a Wagyu, and most other bigger contests, if it's above, 25, 30 teams, we're cooking a Wagyu.
Yeah, you definitely, if there's that many people, your chances become smaller, so you want to give yourself more of a chance to do well with your proteins. So definitely go for better quality proteins in bigger comps. Dan Walagursky says, must be the glazes you're working on, and he's talking about the photo as well. Yes, those are the glazes that we are working on.
Correct.
And Stephen Foster says, what's the flavor profile? Could be a nice color for the chicken in regards to the glaze.
Okay, the flavor profile is going to be tiny bit of heat, very, very tiny bit of heat, a little bit of vinegary, and then you're going to get some cherry and pineapple that's going to come through on that. So it is a cherry pineapple glaze. There's also jalapenos in there. But we've done a little bit to give it a little bit of that vinegar bite. But man, it's sweet, it's tangy, it's got a tiny bit of heat. It's just overall, man, it's just got good flavor.
Not spicy though, but it's got that.
It's got like a pepper flavor
of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but very good question, Stephen. We appreciate you asking that. And Hunter Gross says, when are you going to release your glaze? Just the same thing we've been saying, man. As soon as we possibly can. We're really excited about it, and we hope, man, I hope it's tomorrow. It won't be, but hopefully it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Adrian Estrada says, do you cook any other categories other than the usual, like Chef's Choice, fajitas, Bloody Marys, etc.? If so, what? We'll cook beans, Chef's Choice, ribeyes, and stuff like that, but we've never done a margarita. If we do Chef's Choice, I'm literally going to do what we just posted. The video we just posted, it is that good. But, man, if any of you guys out there also do Chef's Choice or anything, man, what's your go-to? Well, if you're okay with sharing it, we don't want any secrets or anything like that, but what is your go-to for Chef's Choice?
Well, and I saw some comments on it, and it is true. A lot of things that involve cream cheese, especially desserts, if you do any sort of dessert round, cheesecakes almost always win. But also in Chef's Choice, in our experience from our competitions that we throw, surf and turf usually does really, really well for that. Leroy Beretta Jr. says, can you and Sabrina autograph my next bottle of Trifecta, asking for a friend? And Chance says, Alonzo typically delegates autograph responsibilities to me, just saying.
That is true. I always tell people, like, if we're doing events here at the office, that you guys can come and get a free autograph from Chance. Why do I say that? I could not tell you, but I always say that. So,
but yeah, we can do that, Leroy.
Yeah, we'll do that, Leroy.
But then you can never use the bottle.
I'm not sure it's worth anything, but we'll do it for you. Leroy's the man. Fabian Sedana says, what's your favorite way to eat pulled pork? I recently made a butt and lots of leftovers. So far, it's been baked potato, tacos, and sandwiches. Man, I love me a good pulled pork taco. With a good slaw and a vinegar sauce, Killer Hogs, the vinegar sauce to be exact. Dude, it is so hard to beat. Now, also, man, you will never catch me passing up a good pulled pork sandwich with Killer Hogs vinegar sauce and pickles, extra pickles. It's that jaw clench that I always talk about. It makes my mouth water thinking about it because I love that tanginess when it comes to pork. So those are definitely my two go-tos. What about you?
Oh, shoot. I could just eat pulled pork straight as it is. My go-to also is usually like incorporating it into breakfast items. So if you did like an omelet with, stuffed with pulled pork, that would be good. I like to do any sort of chalupa with, beans and that meat, maybe a fried egg on top.
Yeah.
Those are usually my go-tos when it comes to reheating any sort of meat.
Yeah, there you go.
Kevin Strahan says, I need a bottle of that delivered, please.
Yeah man. Hopefully,
several of you do.
Hopefully soon, man. Not to beat a dead horse, but hopefully soon. Chance Vernon says, maybe speak on the upcoming competition class and the environment you are wanting to create. Also, any other future barbecue style classes you may have in mind for the future. That's a really good question, Chance. So Chance is somebody that's really, really close to me. I talk to a lot, and we actually haven't really had this conversation about what I'm looking to create here, what we're looking to create. It's not just me, it's also Sabrina. We are trying to create an environment where people can come in and learn as much as possible in 2 days. Now, I know that everybody's going to say that, right? But I want to tell you how, in a really, really small sample size, how we want to do that. So we want you guys to be able to come and, how do I say it without giving away too much information on what we plan on doing? You know, I'm hoping to create something different. Everyone's going to say that as well. I get it. But what we have going on and what we're going to do for you guys here, I do think is going to be unique. And I think we're going to give you guys real opportunities here to learn, ask questions, have a really, really good seat no matter where you're at. And I want you guys to feel like this is worth what you're spending, because you are spending money to come learn barbecue from us.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah.
One of the biggest things we also want to talk about and we want to do is show you guys situations. In this situation, I would do this because of this. In this situation, I would do that because I messed that up. Man, there's a possibility I mess up the barbecue that day, right? Well, how would I fix it?
Yeah.
What would I do, right? Of course, we hope it's a perfect cook, but man, you can just never guarantee anything in life these days. But man, we're hoping to create something that is memorable and that they can take and tell the rest of the people that this is something you have to do. And of course, we want it to feel like an area where you can come in and feel comfortable asking questions. You can get one-on-one time with me if you want. And man, there's just going to be a lot of people there helping, Chance included, and we're going to make sure that you have just such a good time there. I would like to say more as to why, but I don't think I can do that with respects to the people that have paid the money without giving away too much information. I hope you understand, Chance, that I can't say too much, but as far as future, I would really like to turn this into some sort of academy where we have multiple classes per year, not all competition necessarily. They can be backyard, have multiple people come out, hang out, good time, drinks, good food, learning about barbecue, and there's just multiple things for you to do and to learn while you're there. Hopefully get a few other people involved as well, maybe some of our sponsors, maybe some of the people that we've worked with and partnered with, or just friends, or just barbecue friends. So hopefully some sort of academy that we can do and turn into a couple of day event where you guys can come out to our town, spend some time with us, and hopefully we have, some sort of facility we can do this at one day. That's big picture, but you guys know me, I'm a big dreamer, and that's definitely something that I'm looking to do.
Yeah, for sure. Eric Lopez says, what's your go-to when running Chef's Choice, if ever? And pretty much like we said, the bacon wrapped chicken thighs that we just did, and I will leave a link in the description for that as well. Go check that out. I think that's a really common thing. Anything bacon wrapped, anything poppers, anything cream cheese. It's delicious. That was our go-to for sure.
Absolutely. Cody Crow says, what's in the rib wrap? And we actually just kind of talked about this a little bit, Cody. So butter, vinegar sauce, sugar in the raw, and some liquids.
Yeah.
And we did miss a few questions there in the end, but we apologize. We have to get this wrapped up. We really appreciate you guys listening and watching. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can do that right now. If you're listening, man, share this with a friend. Maybe they like barbecue. Maybe they like listening to me rant about you are not lucky. But do you have anything else that you want to talk about, Sabrina, before we wrap it up today?
No, I think that's it.
And like I said just a second ago, if you guys are grinding, if you guys are doing something big, if you guys are pushing forward and trying every single day, you are not lucky. You are blessed. We are blessed to have you listening to us. Thank you. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.